He
Huh?
got,
So
yeah. Look, I love Kirky and known him for a long time, but like it's got nothing to do with me. Whatever they decide to do, they do. Um, and if they want
why
me
would
to
they stop doing your show though? You stopped sending it. I thought no.
I stopped sending it because they stopped putting it up, but I'm still doing the show.
So,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
still
there
on
was like
Spotify. It's still on Apple Podcasts. It's still out
oh
there.
yeah, no, it's the best show ever. I love your show. I mean,
I
besides
appreciate
Kirk's
it.
show, it's one of my favorite podcasts that I've ever listened to. So, um,
I
but
appreciate
I thought there was a problem with the way that you sent it or something. Like you guys sent a file that was hard to upload, or was that?
it.
I don't know,
Listen,
if that makes sense. I don't know enough
if
about
that's
it.
the case, and they want to share that with me, I'll make it easier. I don't know. Um, Nobody told me that, so for the longest time, when it was just John, putting it up, it was easy. I sent them a link once a week, a little show summary, a link to the Google Drive, and it was up. And then when Justin sort of took on the reins, it stopped going up. And then Menners hates me, so whatever. Like it stopped going up. So I
Well,
stopped sending the
he
links.
claims he doesn't. He claims he doesn't, but he was a little hard on you guys. I never understood why. To be
It,
honest.
it's fine. Look, Menners is awesome, and he does
Yeah.
his thing, and good for him. It's really going to take a lot to be somebody from the other side of the world and to get semi famous here in the New England region because you're a super fan of a guy that used to be on sports radio 7 years ago. Think about that dynamic for a minute. It's nuts.
It is nuts. He's also really good on air. I like him on air. I love him. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. So
He's super entertaining.
yeah, very entertaining. I don't know. Have you been keeping up with Kirk's show at all? Like a little bit here and there
Yeah, so
clips.
I mean, I listen. I listen pretty much every day. I
Oh,
don't
nice.
listen. I don't listen as religiously as the super fans do, but generally, like they go on between 9:30 and 10 in the morning, through the YouTube, and I'm in the office then. So I just have it going in one of my earbuds, and I
Yeah,
listen to the show for a couple hours, and I probably consume 70% of it every day. Somebody comes in
nice.
my office, I got to take the earbud out,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But I'm
That's
up
more
to
than I
date.
thought. To be honest, that's more than I thought. So that's
Uh,
great.
People like to think I'm not a Minna fan, but I'm a quiet Minna fan.
I mean, Kirk's very entertaining. I mean, of course, why even if you're not a huge Minna fan per se, like you still think he's just a great person to listen to on air. So great
Absolutely, but
show.
what Kirk doesn't realize, and maybe he does, is you think about it like this: I get to the office at 9. He goes on between 9:30 and 10, and he
Usually
does a
10,
long
10 o'clock.
show,
Yeah.
right? So by the time he's done, I'm pushing. I usually go to the gym at lunch and run. I'm pushing my lunch hour when he's done, and then I come back from work, and the rest of the day is easy from there. But without on the days he doesn't do a show, the workday feels exponentially longer.
Yeah. So welcome to Kane's Corner. Thank you for coming on, Pat. I've been waiting to get you on. We had you on right in the beginning with your wife. If you don't know, Pat has an awesome podcast. Let's chat with Pat and Cat. Let's chat with Pat and Cat. And they basically go through their whole life. Everything comes out. So I wanted to ask you too. Like I was thinking about this. Is there any topics that are off limits? Is there anything that you guys don't talk about?
For the most
Uh,
part, it's all out there. I won't say anything about my ex-wife that could potentially land me back in court or something where if one of my kids were to find the show 10 years from now, they would think lesser of me. So
okay.
that's sort of that's the only conscience that we have going into it. Yeah,
So
other than
there's
that
stuff
though,
you've left out that we don't know about. Is
oh
there
yeah,
like other?
there's stuff.
Okay.
There is stuff that when the kids are adults, I will ask their permission, and then
Yep.
eventually we'll do it like an after school special, so to speak. One of those old NBC "The More You Know" commercials will come on, and we'll do one of those shows. There's stuff that we've left out, but it's not because we want to leave it out. It's just stuff that look. Last time she took me to court, I spent $77,000. Kane, I can't go back to
Jesus.
court again. Yeah,
No,
I
I
can't do it.
understand. I truly understand the way the system works now. I mean, I'm divorced. I went through it. My wife was tough. Ex-wife was, it was not a fun court appearances. But I realize what leeches these lawyers are. They just literally take your money, they steal it.
Like
And it's disgusting. It actually is a disgusting process to watch your money just dwindle like that. They
the
are
the hardest
absolute
part for me
scum.
was like my lawyer. was roughly my age. I'm 45 years old, and he lives in the neighboring town. We've got mutual friends in common. So he would reach out if he heard something through the grapevine. He'd reach out on like a Saturday morning and be like, "Hey, I heard this. Do you need my help with it?" And I'd just be like, "I don't need your help, but can you just walk me through how to send this email?" And then I got, 3 months later, I'd get a quarterly invoice, like Saturday morning advice. Like, what? Fuck you. Like, you approached
No,
me.
I know.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, they make you believe that they're your friend. It's almost like, I hate to say it because they're super educated. They're not all bad people, but it's really not that different from being a prostitute.
I agree. And honestly, they are kind of like the way the court, the way the judges actually work with them too, and they just prolong it and stretch it out and take your money. But that's really, and just to go back to the show stuff, I was just thinking about that because so there was things that you leave out. I know I've heard you say in the show before. There was like we really can't talk about that. Is it like job related stuff about your job that you don't really talk too much about, or?
Yeah, there's stuff about the job right now. Normally, I talk about my job, but here's the thing: is I said this when we were doing the jokes about, the lollipop stuff and all that. Like, the reality is we're a $50 million company and we're in the biggest retailers in the country, but
Mm,
we're very much a small family run business. So the
sure.
CEO is 80 years old. He's got his president, his vice president, been with him forever. And then there's me. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, so it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So there are a lot, like, my wife works for Raytheon.
Okay.
She's very important. She's buying parts for like the Patriot missiles. Like, without her, we could have some sort of catastrophic issue here in the country and we won't be defended. And it's top secret and we can't talk about too much of her job, but she gets
Yep.
so much pride out of it. And there are times where I'm just like, well, I'm just selling lollipops, and I feel like less than. And that's a me problem. But I don't want to put it out there on air because I know that my coworkers, my peers, listen to the show, and I don't want them to feel like it's a them problem. It's very much a me problem.
I gotta be honest though, you guys put a lot out. So I mean, I'm kind of digging at the corners.
Yeah,
But the bottom line is your show is wild.
yeah,
It's authentic.
yep,
It's riveting at times, and I say this in the nicest way I can say it. I mean, no disrespect,
sure,
but the pain that you have on your shows are
yeah.
very entertaining, and I don't
That's
mean
what
that in a bad way, but the
you got to
ones
put
that are
yourself in
all
our shoes.
normal are very. It could be almost like what the fuck, like it's kind of not. I want to say boring is the right word, but it's like that. I wanted some cat on ex-wife action. You know what I mean?
So listen, like, we'll get to all of it, right? But here's the thing: is I had done sports radio since I was 16, and then I did 7 years VEI. And Kirk can laugh all he wants. I don't care. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
part time. I was holidays. I was overnights, and then I
Hey
was
mate,
the
you were
whipping boy.
there.
I was there. I was the whipping boy from the
Right.
morning show. Doesn't matter to me. That was my dream come true. And then I got furloughed during COVID, and I never went back. So I missed it so much. I just wanted to be in front of a microphone. I've always said it, like, the biggest privilege that we have is being in front of a microphone and having even one person listening. And I missed it. So, Kat's always been intrigued by it. So we came up with this idea because, let's face it, another Celtics podcast. Like, I love the Celtics. I could podcast about the Celtics all day long. Nobody's going to
Yep.
listen. We don't need another Celtics podcast. But there are a bunch of dudes out there like me that are on their second time around, some on their third time around. They got a cunty ex-wife. They got bills they can't afford. They got alimony through the roof. And they want to hear that they're not alone, and that they're not abnormal. So I just wanted to put it out there that, like, no, there's so many of us dealing with this, and I'm just the one that's gonna be an idiot enough to talk about it and make you guys feel like we're part of a community. And I got to tell you that the feedback I've gotten from the show is exactly that. Like, there are people that are just like, "Thank you for talking about this. I felt like a loser. I don't want to talk to my friends about it. Can't talk to my employer about it. It's good to hear you talk about it." Um, it's amazing how low the system can make you feel.
Sure.
And it's also amazing, shout out to BetterHelp and therapy and everything else. But for me and for Katrina, here's the thing that really works for us is we dedicated ourselves 2 years ago to this podcast, and we haven't missed a week yet. It means once a week we sit down together without the kids, without TV, without distraction, for 90 minutes, and we sit here and we record something. And that is better than any therapy that you could ever imagine, because you never let the shit build up that typically ruins a relationship or ruins a marriage. We purposely don't let it build up. And like, she's got running notes on her phone. I have running notes on my phone. And the moment something happens when we're out and about, we write it down. And that's what we reference a half an hour before we start recording. We pull our phones out,
Yeah.
we look at our notes, and that's what we talk about. And
So
if
do
it's a
you
good one,
talk at all during the week, like about things you're going to talk about on the show, or you guys just kind of keep your own lists?
we keep our own lists. And then, so we usually come down here to the little studio area on Monday nights while the youngest is at Civil Air Patrol. So I get home from dropping him off around 7. We record from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock. So from 7 to 7:30, we'll sit here and have a glass of wine and go through our notes and decide, of the 10 things that the two of us have written down, what are the 5 things that are worth talking about? And what are we going to lead off with? But we don't talk about it during the week. We just sort of look at each other. We know that,
So
okay,
you
this
knew
is,
like last week that her uncle, is that her uncle or
yeah,
her?
that's our uncle. Like,
You
we
knew
we
that was going to
knew
be a storyline, definitely, right?
1,000%. When the chick, when like the 16-year-old from the neighboring town came through, running her cross country race, and her triple D's were spilling out of her bra, and he looks
Uh,
at her and he says, "All right, toots, good looking." That was it. We looked at each other like, "Oh, holy shit!" Like, here we are.
it's
Yep,
hitting both lists. Yeah, no question.
it made both lists. If it makes both lists, Kane, we're leading with it.
But you said, I don't know if people haven't listened to the episode, he's very innocent about it. He's got what is he like?
Yeah, he's got undiagnosed Asperger's. Like, he's 62
He
years
doesn't
old.
mean anything by no harm, but it's just ridiculous to have to
It's just
deal with, right?
ridiculous. Yeah, like other parents looking at us like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" Like, yeah, well, he's harmless, but it's funny. So we talk about stuff like that, and then
You've had some epic fights on there, and I was always curious: does it carry over after? Do you guys kind of like, you still
but
pissed off,
for
or
the
does it
most
kind of
part,
end?
yeah, for the most part, it doesn't. There's been a couple episodes, if you go back and listen, where you can tell we generally don't edit from the time that I count down 3, 2, 1 until the very end. Matter of fact, you can hear us saying goodbye a lot of the times. Like, when I say goodbye, you can still hear us putting the stuff away. I try not to edit it and keep it raw. There's probably been twice in the last 2 years where I've thrown my headset down and been like, "Fuck this, I can't do this." And then I'll come in and edit. But for the most part, we're really good about not letting it carry over, because when we made a pact before we got engaged. Like, if the stuff
Okay,
about her exes or my ex is bothering us, or her kid hurts my feelings, or my kids hurt her feelings, we can't let that ruin us. But we can talk about it, right? So we do talk about it, because in a lot of ways it's not fair. Like, Kat's super tough, but she's super vulnerable. She doesn't like it when my ex-wife gets to make these parenting calls because she's
sure.
the blood mother, but she doesn't put in any of the time, the effort, the money, nothing. Kat does all the heavy lifting. So who the fuck are you to come in and be like, "No, I'm going to shut this down"? That's the shit that I love. But occasionally of course it spills. It gets personal. She's going to defend her son till the
Yes.
cows come home, as am I with my kids. My daughter
That's
has
tough.
been to therapy twice, like been to inpatient rehab twice this year. And
Yeah,
without Kat's insurance, I don't know where my daughter would be. But my daughter also plays me, and Kat calls me out on it, and we talk about
sure,
that shit.
sure. And she's also, I think to me the most interesting part of the whole show is the Cat dynamic with your wife and the inner struggle to want to do the right thing. She knows she's going to do the right thing,
Yeah,
but just being absolutely resentful that she has to. And it's just, my ex-wife is awful. When I say it's just an awful person to me, I think she's an awful person. But she's not incompetent. I don't have to
yeah,
worry, are my kids safe? Is everything okay? Like,
right.
she's very structured. She's cold-hearted, but she's she's not like what the things that you explained. And how have you learned to deal with that over the late years of her just being this incompetent? I know you said in the agreement you're not supposed to be taking them on Wednesdays, right? Or there's a certain day
Yeah,
you're not
so
supposed to be taking. You guys have been taking them, and I'm wondering, why do you keep doing that? Have you thought about? I know you don't want to go back to court, but I mean, how do you even deal with it?
here's the reality, Kate. When it comes to my son, we have 50-50 custody, but my ex-wife only has him 4 days out of the month. She has him every other weekend. So think about it in this perspective.
Why is that
If you
split
are
custody? That doesn't sound like split though, right? I mean, that sounds. You
no, but
guys are split.
if you're an every other weekend dad, right? What
Okay.
do you think
Yep.
about that dad? Like he should be doing more for his kid.
No
Um,
question.
a-
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
but the judge ruled years ago that we're 50-50 and that we tried to be that. The problem is, my
You
son
guys
is
work this arrangement out now where it's every other weekend. You guys do that on your own kind of thing?
yeah, but I'm still paying her like it's 50-50
Yeah,
because it's
okay,
not worth
yeah.
going back to court for it and upsetting everything.
Ugh,
Put it this, it's
that hurts.
better for me to pay her and keep her fucking quiet than it is to go through the turmoil because I don't want to drag my kids through it again.
Yeah.
My 15-year-old flat out asked us last year to be here full time because he needs the structure. He's super busy. He's an athlete, but he's a brilliant kid. He's on track to go to MIT and play sports. Like I don't know how.
Robotics, right? Robotics?
Yeah,
Yeah.
robotic. I don't know how I got him. I don't know how he's partially my DNA, and I don't want to fuck him up. That's my thing. So this was Kat's idea. This is why she's such a saint when it comes to this stuff. She's like, no, if your ex-wife will let us keep him because he knows he needs to be here for the structure, for the discipline, to get where he needs to go, and to have the life that he needs. We don't want to take him from his mom. So let's let his mom be the every other weekend fun mom. So like she takes him to Six Flags. She takes him to a concert. She does the fun mom stuff every other weekend. And in exchange for not taking her back to court, he gets to do well in school, get the best of his mom, and get the best of us because this is what we're good at. And it's worked out. I mean, I got no complaints about him, and I'm afraid that if I went back to court to save myself $700 a month, is it really worth it in the long run if I fuck him up?
I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've struggled with that kind of thinking too. Kind of trying to like the same kind of idea that you're talking about. It's like, is it really worth hurting your kid over a few bucks? It's really not.
Right.
But I think about things that you talked about in your podcast where your wife left your daughter and your son alone and worked overnight and she was struggling with addiction. And that's just to me is so fucking incompetent. It's so crazy. And did anything ever come of that or
No, she's still so Kane, she still does it. So,
Jesus?
yeah, so my daughter has had her addiction struggles and case in point why I don't want to go back to court. Because when I do my family therapy with her, I don't know if it's an excuse or not, but she points back at like the ugly divorce and these are her pain points and whatever. Like I'm doing my best to get my daughter back to where she needs to be. That being said, she's literally like 4 days out of rehab, and her mom's picking up overnight shifts and says, I'm going to leave my position now and do an overnight shift 5 nights a week. So then she leaves, and my kids are home alone from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I'm thinking to myself, I wasn't an addict when I was 18, but I was certainly making piss poor choices.
Sure.
And if I didn't have a parent there to be like,
No
you're not
kidding.
doing that.
My
Like,
God.
no shit, right? And
Holy
here's
cow.
my daughter with a car, house by herself, and an addictive brain, and she's just got. There's nothing I can do to stop it,
Yeah,
and
tough.
that's when my son called the police on his mom over the summer, and we talked about that. So he called the police and said, "Hey." Because my daughter was in an inpatient rehab, so my son was left alone for like the third straight night. And he calls the police, and the police come, and the police check out the house and there's a few things to eat in the house and he can flush the toilet and the police say, well, you're 14 years old, this is safe, your mom's in the right here. And I'm thinking,
Jesus.
I know we live in New Hampshire, but what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy. And do you
Yeah.
think your wife is does she think she likes Caitlin? Do you think that's a relationship that's going to build somewhere down the road, or do you think a lot of damage has been done? And she seems to be, like, from my listening to it. I'm
Yeah.
not saying she doesn't love her and that kind of stuff, but
Yep.
she really does seem like she's really down on her. And some of the things you said to you, she almost. I don't want to say the feeling is more of like almost shaming you, like that you keep bailing her out. And I have a daughter, and I know it's a weird relationship. A father-daughter relationship is a special one, and I don't know. It seems
Look,
to be.
it's so put it this way. If Caitlin came knocking on the door right now and she said, "Look, Katrina, I'm sorry. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done the things I've done. Shouldn't have said the things I said. I need your help." Katrina would be the first one to grab her and say and like shake her and be like, "Let's do this. Let's fix this." Um, but Katrina's like an old school Italian woman with some rage and some spite, and like that's okay. That's what makes her awesome. But my daughter's gonna have to make the first move. Katrina will always be the bigger person. So holidays, birthdays, whatever. Katrina's the one that buys, Caitlin her gifts because she knows what she wants. She knows how to buy her the right makeup and the right hair stuff. And my daughter wants to go to beauty school and be a beautician. Katrina is the one that set all that up for her and is helping me pay for it. So all those things Katrina does on the back end, but Katrina gets more upset about the way that I feel after dealing with my daughter, and she doesn't
Okay.
like dealing with the aftermath of me because I become a different version of myself because I'm
Sure.
I'm like, yeah, it's a fucked up thing. Like dads and daughters are fucked up.
It is.
Um, and I don't know what there is that my daughter could do. Remember when Trump in 2016 said, I could walk down, Main Street and shoot people up and I wouldn't lose a single vote. It's kind of how I feel about my daughter. Like I don't know if there's something she could do that would make me completely step away.
No, it's almost impossible. I actually, for me, it would be. I agree with you. I mean, there's probably nothing. So I do respect it, even though she's giving you some snarky attitudes on that show, and I
It's
appreciate it.
okay.
She's top. Have you
She's
guys
earned it.
had oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, she's earned the right to have the snarky attitude.
Yeah, that's true.
You
She does
know,
a lot. She's
I
something
mean,
else,
she does a
man.
lot, and quite frankly, I said, we spent $75,000 in court. Well, that's because
Yeah,
my daughter came to us after Katrina moved in, and for a year we're all living together as a family. And
sure.
my daughter comes to us and says, Mom's not clothing me, she's not feeding me. I don't feel safe over there. So we open up a court case, and then at the very end, my daughter gets this boyfriend that lives 2 towns away, and we don't approve. We caught her sexting him, like putting the shirt the phone down the shirt, and we took her phone away and we punished her. And her mother called that abuse, and the money all went away. My daughter changed her tune in court, all because she wanted to see some dude that broke up with her 3 weeks later. Like it's
Yeah,
just it's banana land.
that is frustrating. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a very intriguing podcast. And if you haven't seen it, it's a no brainer. I really enjoy it.
appreciate it.
But have you seen growth in the podcast? Has it been
Yeah,
growing or?
so it's growing. We don't
That's
have
nice.
giant numbers, but
Sure.
on any given week, we get on a regular week we get 4 to 6,000 listeners, and on a great week we get
Wow.
12. Yeah,
Oh, that's really
um,
good. That's real.
it,
That's
it's
really good. It's more than I thought.
it's
That's good.
I think a lot of it is accidental. It's consistency. There's something to be said for pumping it out every week and
Yeah, absolutely.
hitting the right. I've definitely paid a couple of companies that help me hit the right keywords, like the search
Oh,
terms and
good.
things like that. I've noticed some growth with that, but y- we never set out to make money. If
Sure.
we never make a dollar off of it, but we save tens of thousands on therapy, then it's worth it for me.
It is
You know what I mean?
therapeutic for all of
It's very
us.
therapeutic.
I mean, we all can learn from these situations.
I mean,
And
not for nothing. You
but
you told me you're going through it now a little bit, right? You like you
yeah,
got the blended family. So what are we doing now?
yeah. Well, I was going to round off to that because I did think about like I was it's interesting to listen to you and then realize what I was getting into. So yeah, I guess I kind of was wondering too. Is like is it how long did it take to get like so? What was the exact situation for you guys? What kind of happened? What was the lead up and then just how did it? Well, you were already divorced. Obviously, when you met her.
Yeah.
Well, you were living. You both living separately. Then she just came in and you lived with her. She lived with you, or
So we benefited, I guess, from COVID. So we met January of 2020, and so COVID hadn't been a thing yet, and we went on. You can appreciate this now, having listened to the podcast. So our first date was January 14th, 2020, and we got like 8 inches of snow here, and I live in Wyndham, she lives in Hudson. It's like 7 miles apart, and we had a plan to meet at this bar in the middle. So I'm leaving work, and I'm trying to be a gentleman, and I text her and I say, hey, the snow's coming down. If you want to reschedule, just let me know. She picks up the phone and she calls me. She goes, if you want to fucking cancel, just have the balls to cancel. It's like I love this broad. So
yeah, that's funny.
um yeah, that was
Good
so
start.
we had a great first date, and the Celtics won in double overtime. I got to touch her thigh when Jason Tatum hit a three to force it, and like we started going out probably 2 or 3 times a week at that point. But she also made her own money, so she had to travel for work. I'm traveling for work, and we went this like 11-day period where we were both traveling for work. So I'm flying out of the Manchester airport. She's flying in. So I don't need to get a hotel room there, but I want to see her. So I'm being slick. So I text her. I'm like, I know you're flying in. I'm staying at the airport hotel. Do you want to come by for a couple hours before I have to leave to go to the airport? So she does. And, nothing winds up happening outside of like watching TV and lying in bed. But I get back from that and we were inseparable. But here's the thing that really helped us. So when COVID hit, she had, because she's post divorce, right? So she had a duplex and she had a roommate that was helping her pay the bills. And I had an in-law apartment and he was paying me $800 a month to help me pay the bills. And then they both stopped paying when COVID hit. They took advantage of, renters' rights and all the bullshit. And we both could have continued struggling and covering it all and having the low lifes live with us, but it was getting harder with each month.
Sure.
So we decided.
Sounds like my story, kind of in the same kind of idea.
During the time when we didn't know what was happening, and they were like, 2 weeks, we'll just stem the curve for 2 weeks. She's like, all right, I'll live here. I'll live at your house for 2 weeks and we'll see what happens. Yeah. And then that became 2 months and it became 6 months. And then, so I think we honestly, we didn't get engaged for 3 years, but I think because of COVID, we certainly moved a little bit faster than we would have.
Sure. So then you guys are living together. And then, so when do the kids come into the picture?
Well, I mean, when she moved in, yeah, when she moved in, the kids were here. So my schedule with them at the time was 1 week on, 1 week off. So we would have, both kids for a week, and her kid he was a junior in high school, so he'd live here for a week too. So we had the 3 kids here for a week, and then they'd go back to their other parent for a week. And we did that until her kid graduated high school. And then my ex-wife asked us to do a different plan where it was like 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, 2 days. It was stupid, but we did it just to avoid the fight. And then my daughter wound up obviously going to rehab and then wants to live with her mom where there's no rules. So I have to let that. So the judges here in the fabulous state of New Hampshire basically say that when a kid is 15, they're deemed what's called a mature minor and they can make their own decisions. So when my daughter was 15 and on the infancy of her drug abuse and everything else, our fine judges said, yeah, that girl's got a solid state of mind. Let's listen to her. And that really is what happened. So at that point, we put all of our love and care, we would give her anything she needed. And she has cost us more money in the last 3 years and more heartbreak in the last 3 years than the other 2 kids combined. But as far as the day-to-day, hey, you need to go here, you need this, you need that, like the 2 boys get it all because it's a relationship that pays us back. I
guess what I'm asking too is like how long before she started like not feeling bad about yelling at your kids? You know what I mean?
So that's funny.
That's the kind of questions I'm asking.
And so that's funny. She didn't yell at them so we got back from getting engaged. We got engaged in January 2023. We got back and she had the rock on her finger, and the kids were happy. We had a little celebration together, and then she got a little bit more empowered. And then after we got married this past January, holy shit, she's like, I'm your fucking stepmother now. You are going to listen to me, because at that point, she had as much a legal right to me as the kids did. So I think that it was a process, Kane, but it's amazing. She went full Italian stepmom in January of this year when she came back with the wedding rings.
So it took some time, which I know is going to happen.
It took 5 years.
Basically,
it took 5 years.
For us, like she has 3 kids. I told you about. They're 3 girls, 12, 8, and 15. Which I've never dealt with a teenager before. So this has been a kind of a real eye opener. Sure. I had been coming here a lot, so it's like you hear 3 days a week, but it is a lot different. We're going to make the move. So it was this past weekend this is the second weekend we've been together. So the first weekend was just kind of like I was moving for 2 months, so we kind of just moved everything in, and it's a whirlwind. You're not really thinking, like, I'm out of routine. I'm a routine person. Like when I start to get out of that routine, I'm like, fuck, I was kind of struggling. Like I didn't have the same have certain things I make for my kids, certain things that where they are, you need to make it, and like it just didn't work. So, anyways, so we
hold
get
on.
to the
So
second
you're
week.
living there full time now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So now I've been here for this is the second week. So we're full time.
Have you redecorated at all, or is it yours? Is it the way that it was when you moved in?
Oh no. Yeah, we haven't I haven't well, I really
I'm looking behind you. She looks like a cool chick. Like look behind you. All those sports pictures.
No, I
like,
put all that up.
Okay, that's you.
That's my son's area. It's kind of like his room where he stays. So it's got a nice
I saw that. I'm like, all right.
That's big enough, So anyway, so last weekend, like it was this past weekend was Saco for Kirk's live show. So I was excited, I always buy the tickets. I'm like, I can't wait to go. It's gonna be great. So in the morning, it was like I had moved most of the stuff out, so I had to move a couch out. I still had a couch left to get out of there, so I'm like, my son's gonna come on Saturday. We're gonna move the couch. So at the time, then my girlfriend took my daughter, and they went to the playground, whatever. So we go get the couch, we move it out, and then we come back. When I get back, I could see her face. She's like, "Oh, your daughter like was listening. We had to drive off, do the thing. I'm sure you've done that before. We're gonna leave. Get the car, drive off.
You can walk home, all that. Yeah.
Well, my daughter is, she's 9 and she knows you're not actually going to leave, and she's stubborn. I'm saying she's going through some shit, whatever, So
did your daughter call her mom? Did she call and be like, "Hey,
Dad's
fucking girlfriend left me on the side of the road"?
No. Hey, don't give her any idea. That's actually, she is kind of devious.
Kane, it's coming, brother.
It's my daughter.
So is the moral? Did you make it to Saco or no?
No. So we came back. And they were supposed to go to a women's soccer game. It was gonna be a barbecue, and she was gonna take my daughter. My daughter ended up spilling some nail polish, and so she's thinking like she did it on purpose. And she's like, so I'm not taking her. So I'm like, fuck, now I can't go to Saco. So
you're fucked. Yeah,
like fuck. So I'm like, that sucks. And of course, I gave her the cold shoulder on the way out. I was not happy. So we're kind of learning like what's acceptable, what's not, whatever.
Yeah, anyway, listen, there's no. Here's the thing: you can't put a timetable on that. But it's amazing how quickly it goes. I'll say this: when Kat moved in, when we first got together, the youngest was 8, right? And now he's pushing. He's 14. He was just turning 9. It's crazy. And the 2 oldest, were both. One was in grade school, one's in high school. Now one's in college, and the other one's in beauty school. So the time goes by super fast. But here's this: did you listen to the show today?
Which one?
Do you listen to Kirk's show today?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so how about we make a little plan now? Because when they talked about potentially doing a last minute Christmas show, that's something I need to go to. So
me too.
No matter what happens with our partners and the kids, if they put those tickets on sale, how about we go together?
I would love it.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Because my people, my friends, Kat sort of understands the Kirk world, but doesn't get it the way that I do. She's like, I know why you think it's funny, but she doesn't get it. But immediately when they were talking about it today, I really hope that Kirk is gonna call Dave's bluff and they make this thing happen.
I think they will.
I hope so.
I want to get to the entree of the story. I haven't told you the rest yet.
Oh boy.
But anyway, so now they go to they're gone. They went to the soccer game. I'm home.
Yep.
So she tells me the older one wants to have some people over the house. Okay, 6 people, whatever. 6 girls come out, like 3 girls, 3 boys, whatever. They're at the house, and she's supposed to be back at 6:30. It's like 6:45. She's not there. So I'm outside sitting down with my daughter, and this girl just pulls up. This young girl, 16, jumps out of the car, and she's like, "Hey, are you Mike?" She's like, shakes my hand. I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Well, I'm her best friend inside her, whatever her name is. I'm her best friend, and did you say I couldn't come here?" And I'm like, "I don't even know who you are." She just storms in the house, and it is fucking World War III in there. 2 15-year-old girls just fucking screaming. Oh. I can't tell you if I actually am. I think I'm thinking this gun thing through a little more. If I had a shotgun, I may have blown my fucking head off. It was so crazy. And they just fought. They were crying. They were yelling. They were crying. They were yelling. And I'm like, I am not fucking ready for this.
You're also
not.
powerless. You're powerless in that you can't yell at them. You can't touch them.
Nothing.
You are powerless in that situation, man.
I'm like, where the fuck are you? Where are you? You're at the fucking soccer game. Get home. And,
oh boy, is it possible that is it possible that your girl set this up just to see how you responded? Like, all right, girls, you get into a big fight. You know, like it's. I'm telling you that they think these things through more than we do.
Oh, maybe it was a good test, but it was a test. And look, I don't know how to deal with a 16-year-old girl. I'm just, to be honest, like, I didn't know what to do. I just kind of left the house, let them fight.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
You let them go,
and myself into.
You pull up 3 hours later. There's a news crew out there. Like, what the fuck? Oh boy, yeah. You know what? Dude?
Well, I guess what I'm asking too is, like, how long did it take a long time to feel comfortable together? It doesn't feel like it's going to, but I know it will. It's hard, man.
She's family now. Like, she's family. The kids think she's family. Even with my daughter, like, if she needs something from Katrina, she treats her with respect now. That being said, you know, it's not going to happen. I don't want to bullshit you. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have some more of these uncomfortable moments, these uncomfortable fights. There was definitely times where, you know, my son is like, he's not autistic. But some doctors might have said he was on the spectrum. Some say he's not, whatever. But he's very intuitive and emotional, much more so than I think. You know, I'm a 45-year-old Irish Catholic from Lynn. Like, we were taught not to be like that, right?
Yeah.
So there are times, and Kat grew up the same way. So there are definitely times where I'm a little bit more sensitive with him, and she'll be like, "No, it's time for you to fucking man up, CJ. Like, man the fuck up." And on one hand, inside, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my girl. On the other hand, I can see his heart's breaking, right?
Yeah.
And it took a while for us to navigate that until she got the sort of the minutia, the ins and outs of how the kids operate and what buttons to push. And that takes time, man. I got really lucky with her son because when I met her, you know, he was just turning 16. And he had already had his college stuff laid out. He knew what he was doing. So now when he comes over, like, he plays basketball. We get to play basketball outside in the driveway or throw a football around. And, you know, he's a Toronto Raptors fan of all fucking teams. So we fuck around about that. Like, that was so easy for me to sort of navigate that relationship because he's a dude and he was older. What Kat had to walk into was a emotionally immature teenage girl and a boy navigating, you know, his teenage years. Yeah. You're in the same boat. It takes time, man. But if you love your girl, like, it's worth it. That's all I can say is, like, she's the best prize. I tell Kat all the time, like, we don't play a lot of lottery, but, like, we'll go to a bar once a month and play 20 games of Keno, or if the jackpot's over $1 billion on Powerball, we'll buy 20 tickets. And I tell her all the time, like, I already won the fucking lottery, and I'm not joking. Like, I got a girl who loves me, loves my kids. She's hot as hell, and she makes 6 figures for a respected company. Like, I'm good. I
like that you guys bring coffee to each other in the shower too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. I love the fact that I'm 5 years in and I still get erect when I do it.
Wow. Well, look,
it's a big deal. 5 years into my marriage to my ex-wife, I was not getting erect anymore. Like, there was none of that.
I know. I understand. It's like a chore, you know. You don't want it to be that way.
Yeah, and like, it shouldn't be that. So, like, even this past weekend, I'll give Kat credit for this. She makes sure that no matter what, we don't go more than a couple of weeks without staying connected and doing something. So it doesn't mean we have to spend a ton of money, but she's a cool shit. So she loves Entourage. And she thinks Jeremy Piven's the shit. So he was playing the Wilbur actually this past weekend. And tickets were on Groupon for $27. So she gets us a hotel room and 2 tickets to see Jeremy Piven.
We know.
It's so good. Like, but it's so good, man. It's so good. And, like, it costs us almost nothing, but it's that once a month where you do something like that, that's the difference between things working and things not working.
I got 3 quick things. I'll get you out of here.
Yeah.
You think I would have asked her, I guess, but do you think she's gonna stop with all the coupon and shit when you guys, you know, become rich and you don't have to worry about, you know, paying this alimony, all this stuff? You think you think that's just ingrained in her?
No, it's a game. It's a game to her, man.
Yeah,
It's a
that's what I
game.
mean. It's
She comes home and she's like,
good
I
stuff.
went to Shaw's and I spent $132, but I saved 179. Like the look on her face, that's a game to her. And look, if that makes her happy, then I'll support it. Could be a lot worse.
That's true. Hey, what'd you think about Mutt getting hired at Barstool?
Love it. I love that Mutt
Any thoughts on that?
actually stood up. I love that he stood up for himself. I love that he finally had the balls to take something that was there for the taking for the last year. And Mutt takes a lot of shit. I was done with radio in 2017. I had worked with Mutt at ESPN New Hampshire for years, doing afternoon stuff, Celtic stuff, whatever. And then I walked away from radio for a year, couldn't get a job, was applying to EEI, applying to the Sports Hub. And the Celtics were in the midst of the Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder run. And Mutt was doing Mutt at night or late night. He was doing late night on EEI. And I called in randomly. I wasn't a big sports radio. I called in randomly. It's Patrick from Wyndham. And he's like, I know who this is. And he let me stay on for like 5 minutes. And then at the end of the call, he says, all right, I forget his producer. I think his producer was Ryan Garvin at the time. He said, all right, Ryan, keep Patrick on the line. I want to get his number. Mutt fucking texted me a minute later when he went to commercial. And within 2 weeks of that call, he had me in studio with him. And within 6 weeks of that call, I had a part-time job doing 4 or 5 shows a week at EEI. So without Mutt, like I don't get my EEI run. God bless Mutt. I hope he gets all the good things that are coming to him.
Don't you wonder though how he made it for the last 4 years without working?
There's something else going on there.
There's
like
something.
his wife's the teacher. Please, there is a mafia connection. There is something else going on. Somebody's pushing drugs through a backpack. I don't know how the bills get paid. But
it's fucking
as a former education major, I can tell you that she is not the breadwinner.
Make $100,000. It's nowhere near enough. You know what I mean?
No, that's the thing. $100,000 is peanuts these days. It's not. And I hate to minimize it, but it's not what it used to be. So there's either Mutt's done really well with the horses that he's not talking about, or Mutt's grandfather is like Angelo from Everett, and he's out there, he's running shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. What do you think about the Celtics this year, though? Huh? It's gonna be interesting. What's your predictions? What do you think? Do you think they're gonna make the playoffs? They're gonna skate in somehow, just scrape through, or
can we just can we lead off, because it is we've got training camp coming up on Monday, so we got the LeBron is a bitch shirt.
Wow!
This is we got to wear something like this every day leading up to training camp. So I think they're gonna be okay. And here's the fun part about what's about to happen, Kane, is we're gonna find out if Jaylen Brown really is the 1A that he thinks he is. I know he won Finals MVP, he won Conference Finals MVP. He's got those accolades. He's got the championship, but he's also the guy that likes to go out and say, because I sacrificed for my team, I haven't been able to show the league just how great I am. Mm-hmm. If he does have another level, now's the time to show it, right? Derek White, awesome player, love him. When the Celtics traded for him, not for nothing, but Greg Popovich doesn't let a lot of great, talented players just go. He let him go.
Trade peanuts for him, though. It was a great trade.
It was a great trade. Great trade. And Peyton Pritchard, was he sixth man of the year because he was a product of playing around all these great players and he got to shine, or does he have something else to give? I think they're a playoff team. I think the East is a fucking mess. And I do think
one injury though, if one of those guys, Simmons, goes down, or they have to make a trade maybe, but it's gonna be tough for one of those guys.
Yeah, if somebody goes down, it changes things for sure, because they're not nearly as deep as they were in years past. But that being said, Kane, there's also a world that exists where, last year and the year before, Neemias Queta, I think for 6 or 7 other teams, like that dude could be a starting center. He's had his moments. Sam Hauser, we all know how good he is at the things that he does well. Mm-hmm. I think Baylor Shireman can play. I think there's a world that exists where based on what Tatum is saying, what a surgeon is saying, like let's say the Celtics are 4 games over 500 January 1st, right? Okay. And then the rumors start kicking in. All right, by Valentine's Day, or by the trade deadline or the All-Star break, he's coming back. Well, at that point, You show me a team in the Eastern Conference, if you have a healthy Tatum going into April, a healthy Brown going into April, a healthy White going into April, and somebody, whether it's a Sam Hauser, a Peyton Pritchard, a Baylor Shireman, somebody else steps up and takes on more of a leadership and accountability role. You show me a team in the East that can fuck with that. There's still a world that exists where this is at least a conference finals team if everything breaks well.
What do you think Anthony Simmons is, though? And he's a guy you think he's going to come off the bench, or you think he's going to start? I mean, he was averaging like 19 points a game or something, right?
Yeah, the dude can score, and he's not just somebody that learned how to score last year. He's been doing this for the last 3 or 4 years. Look, when you play for a team like Portland that has had no expectations of winning, it's easy to go out there and put up 20, 25 points a night and not play a lick of defense. If he can become just an average defender, that's all he's going to need to do to make an impact here in Boston, because the offense is going to be there. I don't think it's a coincidence that they traded for him when they realized they're going to have somebody that can score at will, kind of like a Jason Tatum does. Jason Tatum touches the game in so many other ways, but they need somebody to score the basketball. This guy was born to score. That's all he does. And Joe Mazzulla won't let him smell the floor if he doesn't at least pretend to play defense.
Yeah, that's true. He won't. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I can't wait. I love the Celtics.
Like I love them too, and this it's not what people want to hear, but some of my favorite teams were 2015, 2016, 2017. Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Jonas Jerebko, like those teams.
Those fun years, man.
And I think this team could be one of those teams where they win games on grit and balls and effort. I think that's this type of team that this team could be this year.
Do you like what do you think? I thought the Patriots game this past week too. I know they turned the ball over a lot, but I thought May starting to come into his own a little bit. I honestly think he took that hard hit. He's kind of wobbly out there after. He wasn't didn't look it, but some of those runs, he didn't even know who was around him. That seemed a little odd, no?
A little concussed, just a little concussed. Back in the 80s, that was getting your bell rung. That's what happened. Yeah. We're not allowed to say that anymore, but no, he definitely had his bell rung. Look, here's what I told my buddy, and I'm glad I don't do sports radio anymore saying shit like this. But through the first 3 games, I can see where the optimists get their optimism from. And you got to get through this sort of level of bullshit to get to the good stuff. And I can see the growth. And I feel like if they're able to win this weekend, and you look at their schedule, there's a world that we're 8 games in, they're 5-3. Despite the fact that they're still struggling right now, because I do see progression and growth in Drake May, and people forget that he was a sophomore when he got drafted, and everybody's learning this thing on the fly. And these guys are just going to get better.
With nothing. Give him an elite receiver.
Right.
I think you're seeing a different player.
That's 1,000% right. And the only thing that gives me a little bit of caution and disappointment, I guess, is again the media. Pardon me. I listen to what these I shouldn't listen to what coaches say anymore. I shouldn't listen to the bullshit. But listen to Vrabel being well, I don't care about the turnovers. Come on, dude. Of course you care about the turnovers. Just say you care about because if you turn the ball over 3 times instead of 5, you win that game. If you turn the ball over less, you're a winning team, not a losing team right now. So don't lie to the media, don't lie to the fans.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I think they're headed in the right direction.
God, man.
They're going to be good. I think that if they're not a playoff team this year, you're going to see enough progression and maturation in them where at least you'll have reason for optimism going into next year.
It was crazy. And today I was on Twitter and I was watching Brady clips from from his second season. It was unfucking believable how good he already was. Right. Unreal.
Yeah.
You really took this dude for granted. I know he's obviously the greatest ever, but it is unbelievable. I didn't.
Well, back in year 2. Year 2, right? So you're talking about little chubby, game manager, Brady.
So accurate, It's wow,
it's unbelievable.
Really unreal.
But again, go back to Vrabel real quick. Vrabel's talking about not turnovers don't matter. The reason why the Patriots won at such a high level early on in Brady's career is because they limited turnovers and didn't make mistakes.
It's true. It's true. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, and that was big.
No.
All right, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Can I ask you a question? How do you feel about? Are you excited to see the Brady Gronk connection come back next March in some flag football action? Does that like I don't know? I got mildly excited. I'm like, I'm gonna pay for it. If it's a pay-per-view, I'm paying for it. Like, I want to see it.
Definitely watching. That's a no-brainer, right? I mean, of course you want. I mean, Brady looks fucking amazing. I mean he still looks great, you know. So, and the Gronk, you can't. I mean, the guy was just what he was. But yeah, I don't even care who's paying and who's not paying. I'm watching.
I don't give a shit. I just want to see it.
Mean, what do you think he's getting for that? Do you think those numbers were accurate? The amount of money you think he's going to get for this game, or?
I think that the money is going to be similar. I don't think he's getting a $75 million check, so to speak. But he's getting $75 million or more, kind of with the same way that Kawhi Leonard did from the Clippers.
Like the full package kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the full package.
Yeah.
That should be the name of your podcast. The full package.
I got a busy life coming up over here. I'm actually kind of scared. You know, I think I've got into a world that I really should have thought a little harder about, but I'll get through it because she's a great person. You know, and that's the main thing. And my kids love her, and that's what matters.
Yep.
But young teenagers, and that's why I relate a lot with your show. I do relate with it, and that's why I really, really, I'm just so great. I'm grateful you came on, so I appreciate it. But
anytime, man, anytime. And let's hope that Cullinane and Kirk are able to put this thing together, because I'm dead serious. If they make this Christmas show happen, I think the world needs to see you and I rolling together.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm in. I'm definitely in.
All right, let's do that.
I'll dress appropriately, all right?
All right, brother. It was fun.
Right. Thank you for coming on.
I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for coming on. Good guy, man. Great guy. Great show. If you haven't seen the show, definitely give it a look. Today he did throw the network under the bus. I don't know about that situation. I've heard. I don't know the exact particulars. Manners and John, they're the high-tech guys in the world. I don't know anything about how to upload and what matters and why things don't upload right, but it seems like a pretty easy thing to put on a network, I would say. It's a great show. Great show. So anyway, this Friday, we got BDO has agreed to come on. We're going to do a show Friday. I've told him, and I hopefully you're listening now too. It's not going to be an F-word palooza. I'm actually really am considering taping it, recording, not going live. I'll talk to Matters more about this, but he's got a list. He wants to bury some people, so I'm excited for it to bring on my guy, the King of Spaces, Big Dick O'Malley. So he'll be on Friday. So that should be a fun show. I don't know what's going on the network right now, but we'll be on. He's told me there might be a little wrinkle. We'll find out, but I don't know. I will say last night, great job by the Wiener guys. The Wiener guys with a terrific bounce back show. I liked the first one, so I was definitely a fan. I've heard John now. He won't let this go. This guy, every time he eats a fucking wiener without ketchup. We get it, John. We get it. You don't like ketchup on the fucking wiener. The next time I'm in town, I'm going to do one. I'm going to scarf one, and I'm going to show you how it's done right. Ketchup on the wiener, there's nothing wrong with that. That is absolute hogwash from you, from Bill Leach, whoever else thinks it. And I hope Ron has tried it with the ketchup. It's a lot better. It's a lot better. Better product. So, but great job. Great open. That must be nice, huh? Beautiful. Good videos. Those guys were alive. They were firing on all cylinders. I'm a big beanbag Ron guy. I think he's brought a lot to the show, and John's always great. John's a great host. And hey, Pat had a pretty good show too. I gotta say, he was, he did take some shots at Big Dick. You'll have to deal with that on Friday, Pat. I'm sorry. Starts with you. We'll get the boner salad. We'll go all the way through the list, and You'll see. But like again, BDO, you gotta stay away from that word, okay, my friend. We don't want any of that. So I'm gonna get out of here, but it was a good show today. I really enjoyed it. Um, Don Mutt had a good show. That guy was a definitely weirdo, the horse racing guy. I was in his podcast last night, and I'm sorry, in his space, and it was kind of culty. You know, it was almost like a cult in there. Like nobody spoke except for him, and he just ranted and raved, and not too much different, I guess, than what we got over here. So, but yeah, me and BDO will go through a bunch of KMS stuff. I'm sure we'll get into some spaces stuff. We'll definitely get into Frisky Freddy. Reports are he was a little frisky, may or may not have slept in his car. I don't know. Look, Danny from Barica can cancel all rumors, but I'm hearing Freddie was a little trashed. You know, sleeping in his car in his 30s is not a good look. It's not the first time he's been to a live show and embarrassed himself. So look, we've all done stuff that we're not proud of, but I don't know. Yeah, it's the reports I got. I mean, I don't know if they're really reliable sources, but I'm sure we'll get into that. Um, any more topics? Let's take a look. I think so. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff actually. I saved it. That's all right. Well, I did want to say I thought the live show that I couldn't go to, unfortunately, we had a situation over here. Told the story, kind of broke me in half because Pat Gilroy can talk. That dude can fucking talk. But he was great. But it was brutal. It was a brutal moving. It's the first weekend was kind of like a whirlwind. The second one we were settling in, and my daughter is just not listening. It is at a point where she really, I actually had to break her down, and we had to talk, we had to communicate. I guess see what's wrong with her, and I already know what it is. I mean, it's just a lot going on, and whatever. But that fight between the two 15-year-olds was something I have never. I work with a lot of people that age, and it's probably just because it's a work setting. It's a little different, and it's not. It's I don't see fights breaking out in the middle of the dining room. I've people are usually like pretty meek. They don't want to get in trouble and whatever, but that wasn't the case Saturday night. I can tell you that, and it was wild. They were just going back and forth, and I was like stepped out and I went around. And I went in the back where the other kids were, and I could see the look of like they felt nobody could feel, but they felt so bad for me. They're like, oh, what's going on in there? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what was going on because people were screaming, all because somebody was supposed to be invited and they weren't invited. Um, I don't know the whole exact story other than people weren't happy. And, there was a lot of crying. There's a lot of, I love you, I love you, I love you, and some more crying. And there was yelling and screaming, don't put your hand in my face. Shit like that. And, uh, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Be quite honest. So, actually, I know I'm not. Definitely not. And I don't think you can really be ready for um, this kind of thing. I think you just got to go through it, and it's worth it. It's been great. I mean, the people are great. Everybody's great. Everybody's good people, but learning how to adjust in the situation is not easy. But unfortunately, I had to miss Sacco. It was a sad story. But yeah, you learn from it. You learn. So looks like if the Christmas special happens, me and Pat are walking in together. So hey, look, there's always a silver lining, and I'll take it. But thank you, Pat, for coming on. We'll do some more topics on Friday. Should be some, I think, today. There are two more shows, one more show this week. I don't even know. But welcome back, Dave. I don't know if I've said that yet since you've been back. You're doing a great job out there, David. I love you on the show. But I've rambled on. Now I'm leaving.